Good afternoon, brothers and sisters of Christ. Welcome to another reading through the Bible series with Law of Christ Ministries. This is part 244 of our daily scripture reading, continuing in 2 Kings chapter 23. And the king sent and gathered to himself all the elders of Judah and Jerusalem. And the king went up to the Lord's house, and every man of Judah and all those who dwelt in Jerusalem with him, and the priests and the prophets and all the people from small and great, and he read in their hearing all the words of the book of the covenant that had been found in the Lord's house. And the king stood by the pillar and made a covenant before the Lord, to walk behind the Lord and to keep his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all his heart and with all his soul, to uphold the words of the covenant that were written in this book. And all the people stood firm in the covenant. And the king commanded, how do you say his name? Wait, one second. The king commanded Hilkiah, the great priest, and the priest of the second order, to those who guard the threshold, to bring out the Lord's shrine all the vessels made for Baal and for the groove and for the host of heaven. And he burned them outside Jerusalem in Sadamoth of Kidron, and took their dust to Bethel. And he put an end to the idolaters whom kings of Judah had appointed, and they were making incense offering in the high places and in the cities of Judah and those around Jerusalem, and those who made incense offerings to Baal and to the sun and to the moon and to the Mazaroth and to all the host of heaven. And he brought out the groove from the Lord's house outside Jerusalem to the Wadi Kedron, and burned it in the Wadi Kedron, and pulverized it into dust, and threw the dust of it into the grave of the sons of the people. The people. And he tore down the house of the Kadizim that were in the house of the Lord. There where the women were weaving. How do you say this? Women were hetting for the groove. The Greek is so weird. And he brought up all the priests out of the towns of Judah, and defiled the high places there where the priests had made incense offerings, from Gaba and as far as Beersheba. And he tore down the house of the gates that was in the entrance of the gates of Joshua, governor of the city, Joshua, governor of the city, which were from a man's left in the gate of the city. Yet the priests of the high places did not go up to the altar of the Lord in Jerusalem, but only ate unleavened bread in the midst of his brothers. And he defiled Topeth, which is in the raven of son of Hinnom, which was a man to conduct his son, and a man to conduct his daughter to Moloch in fire. And he put an end to the horses that the king of Judah had dedicated to the sun in the entrance of the Lord's house by the treasury of Nathan, the king's eunuch, in Hororium. And he burned the chariot of the sun with fire, and the altars of the roof of the upper chamber of Ahaz, which the king of Judah made, and the altars that Manasseh had made in the two courts of the Lord's house, the king also tore down and pulled down from there, and threw their dust into the Wadi Kedron. And the king defiled the house that was in front of Jerusalem, on the right of the mount of Masoath, which Solomon king of Israel had built for Ashtaroth, a fence of the Sidonians, and for Hamos, a fence of Moab, and for Mokal, abomination of the sons of Ammon. And he smashed the steels and utterly destroyed the grooves, and filled their sites with human bones. And indeed, the altar in Bethel, the high place that Jeroboam, son of Nebat, made, who made Israel sin, and indeed, that altar and high places he pulled down, and he smashed its stones and pulverized them, into dust and burn the grove. And Josiah turned aside and saw the tombs that were there in the city, and he sat and took the bones out of the tombs, and he burned them on the altar and defiled it, according to the word of the Lord that the man of God spoke when Jeroboam stood in the feast by the altar. And turning, he lifted his eyes on the tomb of the man of God who had spoken these words. And he said, "What is the mound that I see?" And the man of the city said to him, "It is the man of God who came out from Judah and invoked these words that you invoked against the altar of Bethel." And he said, "Leave it, let no man move his bones." And they preserved his bones with the bones of the prophet who came to Samaria. And indeed, regarding all the houses of the high places that were in the towns of Samaria, which kings of Israel had made to provoke the Lord to anger, Josiah removed them and did among them all the works that have been done in Bethel. And he sacrificed all the priests of the high places who were there on the altars, and burned the bones of human beings on them, and he returned to Jerusalem. And the king commanded all the people, saying, "Keep the Passover to the Lord our God, just as it is written in the book of this covenant." And for this Passover had not taken place since the days of the judges who were judging Israel, and all the days of the kings of Israel and the kings of Judah. But only the 18th year of King Josiah, the Passover, the Lord took place in Jerusalem. And indeed, King Josiah removed those that want, and those, I'm sorry. And indeed, King Josiah removed those that want and those that know, and the teraphim and the idols and all the offenses that were made in the land of Judah and in Jerusalem, so that he established the words of the law that were written in the book that Hilkiah the priest had found in the Lord's house. Before him there was no king like him, who turned to the Lord with his whole heart and with his whole soul and with his whole strength, according to all the law of Moses. And after him none arose like him. Yet the Lord did not turn away from the fierceness of his great wrath, by which his anger was kindled against Judah, because of the provocation which Manasseh had provoked. And the Lord said, and indeed I will remove Judah from my sight, just as I removed Israel. I will reject the city that I chose, Jerusalem, and the house of which I said, my name shall be there. And the rest of the histories of Josiah and all that he did, are these things not written in the book of histories of the days for the kings of Judah? But in his days, Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, went up against the Assyrians, king to the Assyrian king to the river Euphrates, and Josiah went to meet him, but Necho put him to death in Megiddo, and he saw him, and his servants made him ride dead to Megiddo, and brought him to Jerusalem, and buried him in his own tomb in the city of David. And the people of the land took Lochus, son of Josiah, and anointed him, and made him king instead of his father. Okay, so it's Jehoahaz. Wow, the Greek is so different. It's Jehoahaz, but the Greek translated this weird name here. Okay. Anyways, Jehoahaz was a son of 23 years when he became king, and when he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Hamital, daughter of Jeremiah from Limnah. And he did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his fathers had done. And Pharaoh Necho removed him into Deblathah in the land of Hamath, so that he might not reign in Jerusalem, and imposed a penalty on the land, 100 talents of silver and 100 talents of gold. And Pharaoh Necho made Eliakim, son of Josiah, king of Judah, king over them instead of Josiah his father. And he turned his name into Jehoiakim, and he took Jehoahaz and brought him into Egypt, and he died there. And Jehoiakim gave the silver and the gold to Pharaoh, yet he taxed the land in order to give the money at the mouth of Pharaoh. They gave the silver and the gold, a man according to his assessment, together with the people of the land, to give to Pharaoh Necho. Jehoiakim was a son of 25 years, and when he became king, he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was, oh Lord, Zebudah, daughter of Pedaiah of Ramah. And he did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his fathers had done. All right, guys, we're going to stop there for today. Lord willing, we'll be back. Peace and